Dear God, I thank you for giving me a new day to start. I pray that you watch over me, my family, and everyone in need of your grace. Protect us, guide us, and fill our hearts with your peace. Forgive me for my weaknesses and strengthen my faith in you. Where there is faith, there is love. Where there is love, there is peace. Where there is peace, there is God. And where God is, nothing is missing. Lord, I place this month in your hands. Your plan is always perfect, and your love never fails. Amen.
Amen. What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Tay Crew. This is the Call ATM podcast. Call ATM stands for Conversations About Life and Legacy to Amplify the Message. And I am sitting here with my co-host,
Tyron Barney.
You already know what time it is. And we have a pretty special guest today.
Yes, who is this?
Esmeralda.
Hey,
Esmeralda.
Let's go. So I have known you for a long time, right? We've had some wild adventures, hiking through the different terrains in Utah. She's very much like an outdoorsy type of person. What's like your favorite hike that you go on out here?
It's in Springville. It's called the Fifth Water Hot Springs.
Okay.
And I like it because it has the natural hot springs. So it's really nice. It kind of stinks a little bit, like
Like sulfur and
That's the
phosphorus.
like
sulfur,
yeah.
yeah.
But it's definitely worth it. It's nice. It's warm. A lot of people go up there, drink.
Oh, they do?
To go
How far away is that?
It's like an hour and 20 minutes away from here.
North or south?
South.
Oh, okay.
South, yeah.
Wow.
And then the hike is about like 45 to an hour.
So you have to hike up to it too?
Yeah.
You see,
wow.
and I don't know if I can do that, right? Like, black guys in the woods isn't really something that you see very often, right? Every time, we'd be hiking, I'd be thinking that there's like a crazy moose or a Sasquatch that's about to jump out, and she's just like leading the charge, like looking back, and I'm sitting there, are we almost there? She's like, nah. So she's very much like an outdoorsy, like motivated hiker, which is dope. Do you believe in like Sasquatch?
No.
No, you think that's cap? No, you're not afraid to be in the woods at all.
I mean, I've had one crazy experience here in Butterfield Canyon.
Okay.
This is a couple years ago, actually. It did happen. So me and my girl, Daisy, we were hiking. It was like around 7 o'clock when we got there. By the time we got down, it got really dark. It was like 9 o'clock. And in the middle of like the trail, there was this other path kind of heading like to the top of the mountain. And I saw something like silver, shiny silver, because we were like coming down and we didn't have no flashlight, but thankfully I had my phone charged. And so I turned on my phone and I flashed at it and it like shined back.
Oh,
and so
So
it was like a human figure. Yeah.
Oh.
Silver.
Like humanoid?
Mm-hmm.
So
Was
okay.
it like reflective? Like
Yeah,
was
it
it
reflected. And it was
like
just
metallic?
Metallic.
like a robot?
Oh my god.
I don't know about robot, but it was like all metallic. And it was just
Oh.
standing right behind a tree.
Did it like hide when you flashed the light
No,
on?
it was just like standing right
Oh.
there. And
You-
for a second I thought it was maybe one of those posts, like people like leave signs or whatever. But I've gone to that trail so many times, like after, and there's nothing there.
Skinwalker.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Do you think it was that word, which I'm not gonna say what he just said, or do you think it was like an alien or like a ghost or a Sasquatch?
Alien?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Skinwalker?
No,
I just don't be
silver.
I just don't be
Well, he
saying
didn't
that
want to say that word. What's wrong with the word?
Well, if you know
Because
like
he's
the
a
background.
Skywalker.
Oh my god. No, if you know like the background of that thing of like where that comes from, right? In Indian culture, Native American culture, like
Yeah.
just mentioning the word will attract it to you, right? And
Oh my
Bring
gosh.
it, dude.
yeah, man, just because you know kung fu, man, that thing will
I'll put
tear you
I'll
up.
put a Skinwalker
Hey,
in
I'm
the headlock.
military trained too.
Oh yeah,
Remember?
that's another thing. Yeah, you have quite the collection of guns, and you shoot all the time. How
You
did
have guns?
Yeah.
What kind?
Well, right now I just have the AR-15
Oh.
FN, so that's my baby right there. So yeah.
we literally have to go
I'm
shoot
like a
it.
shooter. Yeah.
Do you think you're a better shot than me?
But you can't even
Probably,
see.
yeah.
Bruh, come on.
I got trained by a Marine, a cop, and a CIA. And
CIA?
a ranger too. So
How
I
do you-
got
Really?
all the little.
How did you meet somebody in the CIA?
I can't say.
Oh, well, okay.
That's
Yeah.
neat.
That's fine. Well, I mean, I'm willing to bet on this podcast, I will still probably outshoot you. So that's just because I am like trained, like in my mind, I think I'm still Team 6. Whether that's true or not, we can find out. But just so y'all know, we'll upload a video when it actually happens, and we'll see if I can outshoot the legendary Ez. So, okay. Now, when is the last time you went shooting?
And this, I would say like 2 months ago.
2 months ago? And what do you like shoot at? Pumpkins?
No, actually, we have metal targets, and then we also buy targets like paper targets with like the face figure kind of thing. And then, well, I like to go to BLM lands, so you can just go to any BLM land, set your targets, and start shooting. Nobody's really IDing you. Nobody's really like checking up on you or anything like that. And it's like free land for
Does
you
it
to
stand
shoot.
for Black Lives Matter land?
Oh my
No,
gosh.
it's like something with a barrel management.
Yo, clip that chat.
No.
Target practice.
Yeah.
That's
but there's
crazy.
one here in Grantsville, actually. It's really nice. It has
Yeah.
really nice scenery.
Yeah. Out of all the guests that we've had on this podcast, I can personally attest you're the most like kind of outdoorsy type of person, which is nice. How did you start to like get into all that stuff and just want to explore nature the way you do?
I mean, honestly, that's where I find my peace. Like, I'd rather be somewhere away from society, away from people, and where I can actually think. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I believe in like hugging trees, you know, taking
Grounding.
away your shoes, getting that energy from
Yeah.
nature, because we are made by dust. So we are nature, if you think about it. Just like the Bible says, you know, you will return into dust. So
Yep.
you need to get some energy from earth. Because
Yeah.
we're all dust. And I personally feel like that's how I get my energy more. It gives me that peace.
Okay. That's fire. My only thing is, I just don't like bugs. Like, I don't like to be outside. Like, when we go on some of our hikes and, like, there's just, like, gnats all around, you know what I'm saying? And I see, like, spiders on logs. Like, I don't know. But I do agree with you. It does feel like a lot more, like, peaceful out there. But I just can't get over the bugs, man. What about you? You be outside?
I love being outdoors. I don't mind bugs. It's fucking mosquitoes, though, dude.
That's a bug.
That's the only bug that I'll let.
Well, Utah's not as bad as Texas. Texas mosquitoes are like
Oh, I
double
could
the
imagine.
size.
They're like pterodactyls.
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
I
huge.
despise mosquitoes, but they won't prevent me from going outside.
Okay, that's fair enough.
They piss me off, but I'll destroy them.
Yeah, I just remember being a kid and like this one time, like we were out in nature and I was making a sandwich and I had like mustard and like ketchup and whatever I was eating, right? And then I finished my sandwich. I remember looking away and I looked back and there's a bunch of bugs in my sandwich. And I was so mad as a kid because you know it takes a lot of effort for a kid to make his own sandwich. Yeah, I just threw that shit, you know? It was done.
like, fuck bugs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, okay.
I mean, if you want mosquitoes to stay away from you, grab lavender. The plant of lavender, it keeps them away.
I've heard
so
that.
if you carry them or plant them around your home, you won't get mosquitoes.
So lavender or bug spray, which
Or
one are you
mint.
choosing?
Mint, lavender.
Citronella.
Yeah.
It's like
That's a big word. What'd you call it?
Citronella?
I never even heard of that. What is it?
It's like a citrus.
Okay, so bugs have a sense of smell.
They can probably not like how we sense smell, but they can sense.
What they don't like, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll stay away from what they don't like.
Yes, I
works.
finally figured out how to get rid of y'all mosquitoes. Y'all fuck
Better
now.
watch
Let's
out.
go. Yeah, I'm outside in the woods now. Okay, so give us a little bit of your background. Like, where are you from? How did you get here? If you're not from here, like,
Well, I'm from Mexico. I was born in San Luis Potosí. I came with a visa. And I mean, obviously, I kind of overstayed my visa, so I had to pay my penalty. But now I'm doing good. I mean, I have my residency, I work. But about my past, my dad is still in Mexico. My mom's here. They're not together. They have their own, situation going on. And I'm just like in the middle of it. But I'm just glad that I'm their best friend, that they can look up to me. So I'm
That's
always
important.
guiding them and basically like teaching them how to act, how to treat each other and stuff like that. So I am very glad that I mean at that age where I can basically like tell them, hey, you're in the wrong. You know, like you should.
Figure
They
it
listen.
out.
They'll listen. Yeah.
So you're almost like
Their parent.
okay,
I'm
that's
their parent.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. It sucks to say, but yeah, I'm basically their parent. Yeah.
Oh, well, it just shows your maturity.
How
And
long have you been out here? Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
20 years.
20. Okay.
20. Yeah. No, 23. I would say. Yeah. Yeah. 20.
And how long does the visa last? I'm not familiar with how that works.
So technically, you're supposed to renew it. I would say like every 7 years, 2 years. I mean, everything changes. Like
That makes sense.
with the immigration status, like they're
Different
making it now
presidencies and-
really hard for you to get a visa, especially a residency. Like they have all these complications, and like they check your record, they make sure you're not like a criminal, but not just that, make sure like it depends where. So it's a little different because like people from like Venezuela, from Colombia, or from Peru, like if they apply for a residency, they like within that same year they get it. But if you're Mexican, they're more, I would say, a little racist more than Mexican. They make
Really?
it impossible for you
Wow.
to get it. So
Wow.
there's like this little war zone going on, like how unfair that is. But this is how America looks at it. They kind of look at it like, oh, well, those countries are way further than America compared to Mexico, which is we're like allies basically, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that has to do with anything, but I think it's kind of unfair because we all pay the same penalty, we all pay the same fees, we all go through the same process. It's just unfair that they would get it that same year, and us Mexican, it takes years. Like if you're getting your documents fixed through a family member, it'll take 25 years for your application to even get reviewed.
Really?
What
Yeah.
the
So
fuck?
I know that like immigration is kind of like a sensitive topic since, the first of this year. Everybody's talking about it. It's all over every news source. And so like kind of how do you feel about that with you coming here, the right way, like getting your visa and all of that stuff? How do you feel about people who don't do that?
Well, I mean, I think as long as they're being a good civilian to the city and to people and they're not harming anyone, I think everybody should have a chance to be better. And I mean, as like my mom always says, they're not leaving their country for fun. They're leaving they're leaving their country to survive, to get to get by, to send money back to their country, to just basically survive. So I feel like they should have an opportunity to stay here as long as they're being good civilians.
But like what I'm asking is like, so you were just talking about it could potentially take 25 years to get your documents the right way, and there's only so much like space in a country, or only so many resources a country has. So does it like affect you at all knowing that somebody could just do it the wrong way and maybe like skip the line, and then you're doing it the right way and it's taking 25
Well, there is
years?
people that skip the line, the people that have money. Like you just have to pay. You have to come. I mean, you have to have really connections and like have a lot of money. Like probably pay like triple of the fee for you to skip that line. And it also depends.
They
who
just
it
like
is.
walking across the border, you have to pay more money to do that?
No.
Like the legal process.
Oh, I'm
legal
not.
process.
I'm talking about like the illegal way, like the reason why it's such like a sensitive topic.
Like illegal immigration.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
People who
Like
just
when
hop the border.
Yeah, when you just come across, right? Because what I'm saying is like there's only so much resources that a country has, right? And that's any country in the world. And so for you, the process has been like a lot longer to get there. But there's other people who literally just go, I'm not waiting in line, and they just jump the border or cross the border. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
And then, like it causes such a big uproar here, which doesn't it make it harder to actually get all your documents and stuff, or?
No, not really, because they haven't applied yet. It would make it really hard. I mean, it's not, I don't even know. Because, like, honestly, like, right now, I know that there's a line. And we're talking about, like, 20 years of line. Like, I don't know if the new people that are coming in, they're applying immediately. But if they are, then they are in the back of the line. They're not in the front of the line. They're just all the way to the back of the line. And when I'm talking about back in the line, it's like 25, 30 years back in the line.
Yeah, government is slow
Yeah.
for everything.
Yeah, that is a process that needs to be like sped up because
Well,
like
What I don't agree is that how DACA recipients, like people that have the work permit, people who graduated here and they are very good civilians, is how they have to renew their DACA every 2 years. And I feel like that's a scam. I feel like that's a scam because Trump has mentioned before that he wants to give them their residency for them to have a passage to their citizenship. But apparently Biden was not okay with that because he wants to continue having that program so they can pocket their the money.
Wait, so you have to pay every 2 years?
To renew their permit for working, but they cannot even get out of the state.
Wow.
I mean, they can't even get out of the country.
Sounds
So
like
it's just like a work permit for them to just work legally here, but that's it. That's it. It's only you applying for that.
sounds like slavery.
Yes. And then every 2 years you have to renew it and you have to apply, make sure that you have a good record. So if you get in trouble or you have for some reason you have a bad record, you can get denied. And so all the years prior that you were a good civilian, it doesn't matter.
See, we don't know any of this
Yeah.
But
stuff.
not just that. Let me tell you how dirty it gets.
Uh-oh.
It's to the point where your ID, your like driver license, they also have to renew it every 2 years.
So you gotta go to the DMV every 2 years?
Yes.
Oh, that's...
And they're using the money that
Pocketing money.
they're working for to be here to
Yeah.
pay for them being here.
Exactly.
It's like,
And they're still paying taxes too.
oh my, yeah.
Oh,
because-
wow.
When you have DACA, they attach a social security to you. So you have to pay taxes. You have to,
Wow.
when you do your W-2s, same like a citizen, you have to do all that.
That is wild. So I did not know that. I'm sure we've all probably seen, like, it doesn't matter which news source you watch, whether it's Fox or NBC or ABC or whatever, but all of like the uproar about ICE and all the things that ICE is doing. How do you feel about all that stuff that you're seeing?
I mean, if they're getting the bad people and criminals, I don't mind. But if they're looking for people who are actually working in the field, who are like just working, and you go bother them just because they're working, it does bother me.
Okay.
Because they're not doing anything. They're being good civilians. They're working. They're like, if I get it, if they were like cracked down the street, makes sense. They're bad reputation, like they're bad people. And they're more in need of the government than them helping the government. You know what I mean? So that makes sense. But yeah, it just depends.
So like the way that, because I'm somebody who like, I don't just believe what I see on the news. Like I listen to this side, and then I formulate my own opinion. And basically what I've deducted from learning all of this stuff is that the reason why this such a big deal is because like when somebody crosses the border illegally, it's a misdemeanor, right? It's not a felony yet, but it is a misdemeanor is still a crime, right? Like so that's where the Republicans are coming from. And then when people who come over here, right, illegally and don't have citizenship, they get taken advantage of by these big corporations where they're like, you're working for $6 an hour, blah 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 under the table, and like if you say anything about it, we're gonna call ICE, right? Which is another form of modern day slavery, right? But then on top of that, you have like the other cartels and other people that are here who will take advantage of those people in even worse ways and be like, yo, now you got to be a drug mule, or now you got to do all this and that, which causes like even more damage. So the same thing that those people are running from in their country, they come over here and get, in certain situations, even worse, right? Because you don't have any hope at that point. You have nobody you can call. You can't call the police because then you'll get, deported. And so that's why, what your point was like, they need to speed up this process, like, but at the same time, like, it's tough because a country can we only have so many resources, right? And like, that's what's tough. And so what I mainly wanted to kind of ask you is what happens if like an American decided to go into Mexico illegally and live there? What would happen to them?
Well, right now the president that we have, they're not allowing that anymore. They're kicking them out.
Really?
Yeah, because of what Trump is doing, how he's sending. See, so the reason why the president in Mexico is not allowing that anymore, like having all the veterans to go live out there because it's cheaper, right? I mean, we all know veterans, they like to look for cheaper places to retire. So the the main reason now the new president is sending them back is because Trump is sending all illegals to Mexico. It doesn't matter if you're from Mexico or from China or from Venezuela, Colombia. He's just throwing them to Mexico.
Wow.
What? I did not know.
didn't know
That
that
is
either.
crazy.
Yeah.
Listen, I love Latinas. I don't want anybody to get confused. Listen, that's like the only type of woman that I've ever like really dated. And so I just am like really, I don't know. I just want everybody to get along. But I was really curious about that because like I've been to Tijuana. It was tight. I liked it. You know, I want to go to Mexico more, but it's like, it just feels dangerous all the time. Why do you think that like cartels and other things are like so prevalent in Mexico, even though there's a government?
Because couple years ago, actually not even a couple years ago, actually I don't know how many years ago, they last time I went to Mexico, from what I heard from my dad, he said that the government basically was starving the people, so the people will hand out their guns, you know.
What?
So they were like, it's either you give away your gun and I'll give you food, or you won't get food. And so all these people were giving away their guns to get food, you know, to get by. And so when that happens, it takes the power from the people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so like now there's all this Mexican people that can't fight back the cartel. They can't fight back even the military or anything because they don't have guns anymore. They got all taken away just to get by with food.
That is, and that's the president of Mexico right now.
Well, that was the previous one. Now
Really?
she's trying to change things around, but people still don't have the guns. They're all got taken away. But I don't know if you guys know this, but also Trump, when he was in office, like I was like 8 years ago, he contacted the Mexican president and he told them, I will give you guns. I will send my military so we can take out all the cartel, everybody, you know, who's making a chaos. And apparently the president from Mexico denied it. They said, no, we do not need your help. No. And you know why?
No, why?
Because
They
obviously
control
exactly.
the
Cartel
government.
controls the president.
Yeah.
What? Oh, dude, my mind is getting blown right now. Wait, what?
That's wild.
That is crazy. And so, is life like extremely different in Mexico than it is here?
Yes. So it's kind of communist. A little bit.
Really? Can you describe like what that kind of looks
Well, like
like?
over there, like if you don't have money, people be stealing from the poor. They're not stealing from the rich because they know that the rich are going to do something about it. They're going to call the cops. They're going to, you know, they have money to pay. So if you don't have money, you're nothing. It's that simple.
So it's dog eat dog.
Dang. And are you generally from like a pretty nice area in Mexico, or like what was hometown looking like?
It's all right. I would say like it has its own nice area, but it also has its own like poverty kind of area. So it just depends on what area you're in.
Okay. When you went to school there,
Yes.
what was that like going to school there?
It was kind of rough, I would say, because it's so different from American school. You know, over there, you're very disciplined. You know, teachers are allowed to hit you. You know, so if you're not listening, you're falling asleep in class, they are allowed to come smack you, grab a book, hit you in the head. I've seen it, witnessed it with my own eyes. So, yeah, they are allowed. And parents can't really do nothing about it. But I mean, that we're talking about like maybe 20 years ago or, you know, like 23 years ago. I don't know if that has changed, but that's basically what happened when I was going to school.
Dang. And what grade did you come over here in?
So I finished my first grade. I came here when I was in second grade.
Second grade. So when you got over here, did you speak any English?
No,
Really?
no. I
What
didn't
was
even know.
that like?
It was so hard. It was so hard to learn English. People were making fun of me because I couldn't pronunciate words or because I didn't know certain things. It was rough being here. I hated being here, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, it's a new life. You don't really have friends. Everybody talks a different language. You know, it's not like Mexico. Over there in Mexico, everybody knows their neighbor. Everybody's friends with their neighbor. Over here, you don't even know your neighbor.
Yep.
That's a fact. That's a
So-
fact. Yeah, I don't think I know anybody who lives next to me at all. So Mexico.
America just doesn't have culture.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yeah. That's like a brutally honest way to say the truth. That is true. Why do you think that is?
We're too diverse, I would say.
So do you think
And
it's...
I don't know. That is a good question.
But what I'm asking is like, do you think at a certain point too much diversity is problematic for a culture?
I think it gets to a point where diversity is the culture. Like where it's just like a free for all. Like we have, fiestas over here. We got, Chinese New Year over here. We got, black neighborhood shooting each other over here. And we got, American hot dog barbecue party, like fireworks. I don't know.
Yeah,
America's
that is crazy.
just a melting pot of culture,
Yeah, that's wild.
of different cultures. But it's like as far as just one big
I mean,
culture,
honestly, if America wants to better itself in culture, you just gotta accept every other culture and be okay with it. Imagine how many cultures you would have in one country. That's amazing compared to just one culture. You
Yeah,
know?
but America's the only place where you find, like, you can literally find one of everybody from all over the world,
Yeah.
And my only thing is like, why? If other countries can see that it works for America, why are they not all doing it too?
I mean, the UK I know is having an immigration problem.
Oh,
But
that's a big one though, because
That's a
that's
bit
kind of
different.
where that's why I was asking if like too much diversity starts to create problems. You
Yeah.
seen what's happening in the London?
How women can't be out after 9 p.m.?
Well, no,
What-
yeah, basically, but like there's so much immigration in London that now it's like, I mean, the crime is insane, and like a lot of people say it's because like we America and Europe, we went over to the Middle East and we like pretty much destroyed everything, and then so they had to go somewhere and they immigrated to like America and then also to England. But in England, like you don't have as many rights as you do over here. So it's like, of course, there's no guns, but there's a bunch of stabbings and a bunch of other things to where like now people's like national identity is being questioned because at a certain point, like if you were born in England, like you're no longer the majority, like you're the minority in your own country, which I think causes a bunch of issues for them. You
yeah,
know?
who said it? It was like if you go to China and there weren't any Chinese people, how would you feel?
I think I know who that was who said that.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. So as of now, do you feel like, you're an American?
I mean, I was basically raised here, so yes, I do feel like I have the kind of culture of American because I was basically raised here my whole life. But my mom is very traditional, so she always forced us to talk in Spanish at home. She doesn't really know English. She hated us talking English at home. Like we cannot talk English at home because she does not understand. So, but I am very grateful that she did that, or else I wouldn't be fluent in Spanish. I would only know English. So I'm very grateful that she did that. But yeah, so I mean, thanks to her, I kept my traditions, or else I'd be like Americanized.
Okay. So what is like the fundamentals of like your family? How does it operate? Like what is Mexican culture for those who maybe don't understand or only have an American view of what that looks like?
I mean, besides the parties, like how they party late night. No, they're very religious. That's one thing I've noticed, that in Mexico they still do rosaries. Like they wake up the baby Jesus, they put him back to sleep. They're very strongly in religion. Over there, like the churches get packed. Everybody's wearing a rosary, and so the Catholic Church is very like it's a main thing in Mexico. So compared to here, we have different types of religions. They're not really focused in one. They're kind of undecided. So it kind of like I would say contradicts everything.
What would you say about the family dynamic? Because I know in Mexico, it's very like the families are really close. Like instead of as opposed to here, when your parents get old, you throw them in a nursery home or a retirement home. There, they move in with you typically, and you take care of them.
The reason that it is what it is. It's different from Mexico than here. Is because in Mexico, you're raised rough. You're raised where you start working in a very young age. You don't have a childhood.
Like how young?
Like kids are working at 5.
Really?
4 years old. Yeah.
Doing what?
Selling candy, doing whatever they can just to get by in Mexico. You go down the
Wow.
streets, there's kids like trying to sell you candy, trying to like sell you anything. So they live a very rough life, and just to provide for their parents. So they already are implemented
Yeah.
to take care of their parents in a very young
Interesting.
age, compared to here. Kids get, they get iPads, they get
Yeah.
phones, they get spoiled. So you're not implementing any good. You're basically implementing social media and all that, and that's not giving them any like morals. That's not giving them anything. Like, that's just them having fun and like being oblivious about life.
Yeah.
Compared to in Mexico, like, you really need to work to help your parents.
Did
So,
you have to work at a young age?
Yes.
Selling candy and stuff or flowers?
No, I actually, thankfully, I did chores at home, but I also babysitted on the side.
Wow.
And I was doing that at age 8. I had to have, I already knew how to cook by age 8. Like, I had to have a full meal in the house, or my mom would give me, like, she would get mad if I didn't have any, like, meal ready, if the house was not
Wow.
clean and, organized. I would get in trouble. There was one time I even got kicked out for not having the home clean. Like, it's that strict.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are the family, like, how many kids do you see a typical family in Mexico having?
At least like 7 or 8.
Sheesh.
Yeah, because both of my sides, like, from my mom's side, they're 8, and from my dad's side, they're 8. So there's 8.
So wait, so you have a lot of brothers and sisters?
No, I only have 2 brothers and 1 sister. But, like, my uncles and aunts, they're 8 and 8.
Wow, that's a lot.
Because,
So
back then, they didn't really believe in birth control pills and Plan B. You stick with one guy and that's it. They don't have baby daddies or nothing like that.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't see any of that stuff. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that's still how it is today in Mexico?
No, because there's a lot of... It has become a lot more Americanized.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Dang, 8 kids would be a lot, and that's like, that's a lot to take care of. And so
Goals.
so where does everybody, like, so because you're saying there's a lot of poverty-stricken areas, so like where would everybody sleep if you have 8 kids living somewhere in
They all
Mexico?
can sleep in one room.
One room, huh? Wow.
It's one big bed.
Yeah. Or in the floor.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's tough. That is crazy tough. So, okay. So fast forward. So you get to America. You're learning, English. It was hard for you in school. Did it get easier as time went on?
A little bit, yeah.
At what point, like what grade were
I would
things
say
like starting to click?
Until 6th grade.
6th grade?
Yeah.
It's about 4
It took
years.
me, and it took me a while to learn. And also because, like, I was also learning Spanish. I mean, I was only 7 years old.
Yeah, so you had to
like,
learn.
I'm still learning Spanish. And then, like, my mom has to do a lot with it because, like I said, when I would go home, I couldn't speak English. So I couldn't practice. I couldn't talk to
Yeah.
anybody in English. I had to only strictly speak Spanish. And when I went to school, I had only strictly, like, I had to talk in English,
And
That's
when
rough.
you moved from Mexico, did you move here to Utah?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Was it a big adjustment getting used to how cold it is out here?
Yes. I never seen the snow until I came here. So, yeah.
Dang.
Because in Mexico, it doesn't really snow. Only in some certain areas, but
would
not
imagine.
in my area.
Really? Dang.
You said you went into the military?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was married at one point.
I see.
And he was in the military and he trained me.
She likes
Understood.
tough guys.
Yeah.
Tough, big tough guys. But yeah, that's wild. And so, yeah, let's talk about that for a second. What was it like being married?
It has its pros and cons. It just depends, It was easy at first because he was one of my best friends for 10 years prior to that. But, like, his family was a little toxic, and I think that's what basically broke our marriage. And you would think, because they were Mexican, right? They would be on my side, and, like, we would get along. But, there's this saying, the worst enemy of a Mexican is another Mexican.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Like, literally, like, that's why Mexico cannot, like, be successful, because everybody, like, if they see you have anything better that they don't have,
Like those
you're their
motherfuckers.
enemy now.
Oh, wow.
It's not like they're cheering for you. No, you're their enemy. They'll go and try to steal from you, try to take you down. There's a lot of sin of envy in there.
Oh, wow. So that was basically the ruin of that, and
Yeah.
that's tough.
And also because like he also was choosing their side, and it was just like too much. And I basically kind of like ran away from that. Like I was the one that filed for divorce. I was the one that paid for their divorce and everything because I was just thinking ahead. And if I ever brought, like a child into this world, I don't want to be in a broken family.
Yeah.
I believe in that.
Yeah, well, those are obviously some pretty good morals, because, yeah, that would suck to, have a kid and then all of a sudden he watches, mom and dad arguing all the time and getting mad. So, yeah. So,
but not just that, but you got to think about it. You're also making it okay for the kid to repeat that cycle, And when a kid doesn't grow in a broken family, that's weird for them when they grow up. So the possibility of them having a broken family is very low because they don't come from a broken family compared to, I'm not saying broken, like, you're a bad person or anything. It's just that you guys are just not together. And kids learn from their parents, and they repeat their cycle.
yeah, no, most definitely. I hope I was able to break the cycle, because I didn't grow up with a dad, but man, that was, I'm over here sitting there like, oh shit.
I broke the cycle.
Yeah. So do you think you'll ever get married again?
I want to, yes.
All right. Describe your dream man.
Husband? Okay. I've been thinking about it actually, and it's definitely a God-fearing man.
Okay.
And someone that brings me peace. Someone that has
check
already found peace with himself. And I mean, like, you have to love yourself. Like, you need to bring already that peace in the table, because I'm already working on that. I don't want to bring your own, like, I don't want to hear about your own chaos and your insecurities or whatever. No. Like, I want you to be at peace. Like, you don't have to have money. You don't have to have all these things or anything.
Wait, so you would marry a guy with no money?
No, as long as, like, he brings me peace and we work together and he's a God-fearing man. Like, he actually fears God. Because you need to have that in the back of your head. Like, before you're tempted to do, adultery, you need to have that in the back of your head. Like, I'm fearing God. God is not going to be okay with this. So I really need him to be a God-fearing man.
Okay. What about looks-wise?
Looks come and go. We all age.
So it doesn't matter, short, fat, skinny, tall?
I mean, I hope he's taller than me, though, for sure. I don't want him to be shorter than me, So, yeah, taller.
Okay.
What about habits?
Habits?
Like, what if he's like an avid video game addict or addicted to pornography?
I wouldn't be okay with pornography. Because that's already allowing your spirit to get tempted. Adultery. The chances of you to go cheat are very high.
True.
Because you're already looking at another woman, not at your wife.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't
You're
want
looking at
that.
another man with a woman,
Yeah.
basically cucking yourself.
That's kind of, it's a
Sometimes
little gay when you think about it. It's a
It
little
is gay.
gay, honestly, when you think
And
that.
they say it does corrupt your heart. Like,
really?
people that watch porn, it corrupts your heart. Because now you're seeking for a model. You're seeking for the woman that you're looking at. Rather than finding a good person. Someone that is going to give you a family. A girl from the social media, they're not going to give you any family. They're going to give you temporarily pleasure.
Yeah.
But it's not permanent. So.
Listen, I think we both can probably acknowledge that. Listen, the women these days, I personally feel like most of them is worse than the men. Like, we've interviewed a lot of people on this podcast. We've heard a lot of different sides of things. And yeah, I just feel like dating is so broken these days, because I feel like people haven't found God.
Did you hear that back in the day, 120 years ago, there was no such thing as dating? Back in the day, people didn't date. People will meet their spouse in the altar. People, like, their spouse will literally talk to their parents before they even talk to the girl.
Imagine
It's traditional.
that is very unique.
And
though.
now we're all this dating. People
like
are dating
Tinder,
left and
swiping.
right, left and right.
Tinder,
People are dating
yep.
left and basically dating is now considered as prostitution. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it is considered as prostitution.
Hey, I'll buy you dinner if you go back to my place.
That is crazy. So, but I'm just trying to put myself in those shoes, right? Like you see a woman, you go talk to her father and say, "Hey, I want to marry you or marry your daughter," and we've never talked. Like, my biggest fear is like, what if we just don't get along, or like, You know, like imagine marrying somebody that you literally hate just because, like, at first you're like, yeah, she looks pretty good, but then all of a sudden she, like, you know,
And she's
just
mean
yeah,
and
she just
wicked and
snores hella loud at night. You know, like
oh gosh. I mean, that would suck, but it's all about, I mean, disciplining yourself to one person, you know? I don't think this is a vessel, you know? All of us are using a vessel. So, I mean, I think it's all about like what you make out of it. Like if your partner is not the best, try to work with them, you know, try to make them a better person, you know? It's your project. So it's like you might as well like work around it.
Okay.
Not everything is gonna be perfect. Nobody's perfect. So everybody's gonna have their pros and cons. You know, people are gonna fight, whatnot.
some
It's
people's
okay.
bald, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, it just is what it is. But
Yeah.
it's all good. I'm not throwing any names out there or anything, but no, that's a very good perspective, and I think people really need to hear that there are still women out there who believe in traditional values. I hope y'all heard that. So yeah, one thing I really did want to thank you for was you actually introduced me to like my favorite church out here, and then we went together a couple of times. How do you maintain that discipline to continue to go to church and like continue to like really believe in like the Word of God and the Bible?
How do I continue it? Well, I mean, I used to be obsessed with God when I was younger. Like, it's just something you're born with, something that you are seeking since you were a kid. For me, since I was 5 years old, like, I had to have a rosary. I basically wrote a book of, like, prayers at age 6. So I was, like, already, like, obsessed with God. And also because, you know, like, I've seen stuff in life, you know, good things.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
As much as I've seen bad things, too. I've seen both sides. So if you believe that there's bad things, you got to believe that there's good things, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I always look at it like it's not God's fault. He already did his job by putting me here to give me a choice every day to whether I choose to be good or not, you know? And I feel like he's my creator and I have to respect that just like as much as I respect my dad and my mom. He's also my father, you know? So if I have the permission to respect my parents, why not the creator of this world?
Yeah.
You know? And not just that, but God can take my life any day I want, you know? And he still gave me the chance every day to make a difference, to help the people around me. So I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for breathing. I'm grateful for waking up. I'm grateful for the little things that people don't really notice, you know? For having life, for having the opportunity to help my mom, my dad, and anybody that comes, you know, across my path. So I don't punish God for my bad life. I just don't. It's not his fault, you know? And you have to go through things like that to know how to value things in life, you know? So for me, we all have our story already written down, you know? And we just have to survive and know that life is short and it's temporarily, and we have to make the most out of it.
Okay.
And a lot of the bad experiences, looking back, are blessings
Yeah.
from God. Like, there have been instances in my life where going through it, I was like, why is this happening? Then fast forward 2-3 years, looking back, I'm like, thank God I went through that, because now not only have I been able to build out of that,
It
but
gives
now
you a clear path, like
exactly,
clarity,
and now
clarity.
I'm built to the point where I can handle that and 10 times that down the road.
I mean,
And you know, you do see that God gives you what you can handle. He's not going to give you a battle that you can't handle. So
yeah,
Well
I mean,
said.
something I can relate to in that story is like I remember losing my record deal. I literally remember the day that it happened, and I felt like my world was crashing down on me. Like I worked 10 years for this. Like I can't believe that it's over. I remember when I got the email from them, right? It was tragic, but looking back on it, you know, like I am so grateful, because if I would have kept going down that path, who knows where I would probably be dead or in prison, because like having all the money and all the fame and like what you were saying, like the temptation to have, you know, this girl or that girl or whatever, like none of that stuff was good for my soul or for my spirit. Plus, like the music that was being created was just leading people down the wrong path, you know, glorifying, you know, like sex and drugs and all sorts of stuff that kind of would push people away from God. And then also, making it look really cool and really lit, like this is how you're supposed to be. And then looking back on it like today, where all of us have accomplished like so many good things and like inspired so many people, like I am so grateful that happened. But in the moment, that sucked. It was horrible, nightmare situation. So yeah, I relate to y'all on that. So how do you feel about people who maybe feel like they have done, bad things in their past and maybe feel like maybe God just has forgotten about them? What
God,
advice would you give
you
to
know
them?
what? This is my best advice. As long as you repent and as long as you're willing to seek God, He'll remember you. God will remember who looked for them. Like you're the son of God. You're the best creation He's ever made. You're as unique as it gets. So He doesn't see you as like, oh, you're ugly, you're the worst, I hate you because you're sinning. And like, no, you're the best creation He has ever made, So He loves you. But as long as you seek for Him, He will never forget about you. As long as you read and preach His word, He will never forget about you. He will always be there right next to you, walking next to you, watching over you, And I feel like for people that are a little lost in life, all you just got to do is look for Him. He's right there, down, just opening your door. He's right there. He's never abandoned you. You abandoned Him, but He hasn't abandoned you.
Wow.
You just got to look for Him.
And He's always whispering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like actually a very powerful statement that may not be today, may not be tomorrow, but I think somebody down the road watching this episode is going to need to hear those exact words right when they hear it. And like, that was very powerful. And so, because I just feel like, at least, I've heard from people that they're just like, man, like all this bad stuff has happened to me. Like, if God loved me, then this wouldn't have happened. Like, and so, but then when you look at their habits and their life that they're choosing to do, it's like just because something bad that happens to you doesn't mean you have to do it to somebody else. And those people are always doing like negative things and continuing this cycle. And yeah, so I think that's just great advice for them to hear. She
Man,
just made me
another
think
thing-
really deep. Like I'm like sitting over here like.
Another thing that kind of got to me a couple months ago is that, how sometimes people have a hard day, they go through stuff, and then there comes a good person, gives them a blessing, and everybody has their own like struggles, everybody has their own battles, whatever. But it's about how you being nice to one person could be you being their blessing that same day. They probably have a really hard day and maybe you're the only blessing they got that same day. So it's really good to be kind because everybody has battles nowadays. You just gotta be kind and be, understanding of your brother and sister. Because at the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters, no matter what, race we are, what color we are, or what beliefs or whatever. We all got to treat each other like brother and sister. I mean, we're all one species, so.
Yeah.
It's profound that you say that. I went to Gardner Village for a little Halloween witch festival earlier, and I caught myself in the moment walking with my family through just like the crowd, and I just made contact, like looked at everyone in the eyes, and I was like, wow, we are all here experiencing this. Like we are all family.
Yeah.
Like this, there's just so many different kind of people, and like we are so different, but we are so similar because we all have different things going on. We all have battles that we're facing. We all have things that we're looking forward to. We all have people that we love. We all have things that we're, I don't know, people are just so deep, but it's so easy to get lost in the surface level mundane bullshit of like, oh, this person's a different color, or I hate this dude's shoes, he's wearing
that's what I'm saying.
red. Like
I mean, that's the devil's job, is to distract people. That's why the devil created, how would I say, like race. That's why the devil created all these religions, all these diversities of everyone, because they want you to be distracted. They don't want you to be focused in God. God is one, and one is all of us. It doesn't say, oh, just Mexicans, just white. No. It doesn't work like that. We're all brothers and sisters, and people are too focused on like, oh, I'm Mexican, oh, I'm Caucasian, I'm Asian. No, you're being distracted by the enemy. And that also includes like whether you play video games, whether you are out watching porn, or whether you're like seeking other stuff, it's all a distraction from God. And as long as you stay distracted, God, the devil's going to leave you alone. You're not an enemy to him. But the more you seek God, you become a threat. So like as long as you're with God, you become a threat, because his mission is to keep you away from God, to make you a lost soul. So when you do die, he has the opportunity to torture you,
Oh, yeah.
compared to like if you go with God, he doesn't have that opportunity to torture you.
Yeah, a lot of well, I've heard this a lot, but they say that the devil's greatest trick was convincing you he doesn't exist. And so that is quite a very deep thing that you just mentioned. And so let's talk about it. Have you ever experienced any sort of crazy interactions with like demons or anything wild where it made you go like, oh?
Plenty.
Oh.
Actually, plenty. This is how it all started. When I was like 5 years old. So, remember in Mexico, they have all the rosaries. We pray a lot, especially around December, January. We wake up baby Jesus. We put him back to sleep. But when we pray, we all are sitting down praying together. It's very powerful when you pray together, especially when you pray with kids. It's very, very powerful. Like, anyways.
I just got the chills.
I know, dude. I'm saying I can't stop listening to her. Like
this day, we were in this ranch, and we were in my grandma's home in La Hacienda. And I remember that, I was like 5 years old. In La Hacienda, it's not like a house like right here where you have your room next to each other, bathroom right next to each other. No. Over there in Hacienda, it's separated. Like the bathroom, you have to go outside. Like it's across the other room, So it is like that. So it's kind of like.
So it's a house, but it's split up. So you have like your bedroom, then you have to walk outside to go across to the bathroom and the kitchen.
Yes.
What's like the benefit of building a house that way?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But
okay.
Just because the weather's great, so it's just an excuse to go outside.
Hey.
Maybe they couldn't think of, let's just put them together. I don't know. But anyways, so that day I remember that like all the adults, like my aunts and uncles, my mom, my grandparents, my grandma, everybody, they all went to the kitchen. We were about to eat, tamales and all that stuff. And I remember that there's this granja. A granja is like like those houses that are built with sticks.
Like full size
like
houses,
a cabin?
or like a little
kind of like a cabbage.
Okay.
No, not cabbage. Like a.
It's like a log cabin.
Cottage.
Right? A cottage.
Teepee?
When you say sticks,
Like
because
teepee.
Yeah, something like that. It's like it's made out of sticks. Anyways, so my great grandpa, that was his place where he would sleep, and I remember that my grandma, she would do basically the altar outside of his little room, and she would put like Christmas lights all around it, and my uncle and my brother were actually with my great grandpa inside the room, and I was the only one outside. And it was already, I think, like 10 o'clock or midnight. It was already dark, because I remember it was like night. And, I'm over here, I'm 5 years old. I'm looking at a baby Jesus, wanting to play with the baby Jesus. Because, pure kid, you're thinking like, oh, it's a toy. I want to like carry it, hold it, dress it, whatever. So I'm over here thinking like cute stuff, right? Like, because I was like obsessed with Jesus already. And I was like, oh, this is so cute. This is a baby and this and whatnot. But next, I got like some chills. Like it kind of gave me goosebumps. While I was looking at the baby Jesus, I turned around and I remember my grandma had its own farm, but she also kind of had like a maze. So it was kind of like a maze full of cactus and stuff like that. And when it gets dark, you can't really see what's in there. So, anyways, next to the maze, when I turned around, there was this black horse staring at me. And
there's no horses on the farm.
Yes, we have horses. And so that's what I was thinking. Oh, it's probably one of the horses got loose, right? And so I went inside the cottage or the where my great grandpa was, and I told my brother and my uncle, "Hey, there's a horse outside." And then my uncle right away was like, "No, that's not the horse, it's the devil." And then he starts like he takes off, and then my brother takes off too. And then I got scared. I'm 5 years old. Remember, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, why are they taking off and running? So I start crying. So I start running after them, and we get to the adults. We get to the kitchen where everybody's at, and my uncle, my dad, my uncle, and my brother tell my dad, "Hey, we saw a black horse outside, blah, blah, blah." And so my dad and my uncles and even my grandpa, they all went outside to the farm to go check up on the horses to make sure that they are not loose or running around or whatever. Everything was normal. Like all the horses were there. The farm was locked. They never found that black horse. But I swear to God, I saw that black horse looking at me, and it was staring at me. It didn't get close to me from distance, but it was staring at me. And that's when I believe, like, there's something more out there.
Yeah, why do you think the devil chose to appear as a black horse?
Because he saw me as pure. Kids are pure. I was 5 years old. I was so obsessed with God and Jesus. I was pure, and he was looking at me like maybe I was going to be maybe a threat. He's looking at his next threat. Who knows? I don't know.
Oh, wow. Is that your only experience?
No, I've had others.
But
like, that was my first experience.
That's a pretty gnarly first experience. This is why I'm saying, like, being outside in Utah, like we in the woods or something, like, and I see a freaking just a picture. There he goes again. Like, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies even just like hearing that word, because like, dude, those things are scary, and that's what they do. They disguise themselves as animals.
Well, like if I go missing during a hike, you'll know why.
We're gonna go find him. We ain't going missing. Listen, she's a sharpshooter, CIA, SEAL Team 6. We got you, bro. We about to be out there. Like, where's Ty? But that's crazy. I'm trying to think if I've ever had an experience like that. So I don't think I've ever seen it, but I've had dreams. Like, the craziest dream that I ever had was I used to live at this apartment where you know how your door opens a certain way, right? Yeah. So I knew I was dreaming because my door was opening from the other way, okay? And it was like pitch black, and you know how I have a dog? I have a dog? Okay. Percy. It's my baby.
Shout out Percy.
Yeah, that's my little boy, and like I freak out over my dog. I treat him like a kid. And so in this dream, like all of a sudden I'm in my bed, and it looks really realistic, and I just hear this boom, 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 pounding from the other side of my door. I'm getting chills just even thinking about it. And so I like get out of my bed, and like I'm like walking over, and Percy is like looking at the door. You know how whenever you see a dog get mad, like the back of him is all raised and his tail's straight, and he's like staring at this door like growling. And so I'm like, what is going on? And I opened the door, and it was like the blackest black I've ever freaking seen. And in my kitchen, it was like everything was black, but there was a certain section, a silhouette of a person that was so black I can't even express it to you. Like, it just looked like, I don't know, zero light coming off of this thing. So it separated itself from the other black. And the next thing I know, Percy like leans his head out the door to like investigate, and the door slams on his head. And he's going, and I am losing it. I'm trying to rip this door open, like, because he's hurting my boy, and I'm freaking out. And then I remember in the dream, I just said, like, in the name of Jesus Christ, be gone. And the moment I said that, the door opened up, and I wake up, and I'm like sweating. Percy's laying next to me, and I'm like, give him a hug. I'm like, dog. Wow. I'm like, boy, because like she mentioned, like demons will go and attack things that are pure, right? And so Percy is like an innocent, like all animals are innocent, And so like that was one moment for me where I just, like it freaked me out just even seeing that. And this, even with it being a dream, it felt so real that it was like the moment I used, Jesus' name, like it was gone.
And you see how strong the word of Jesus is.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't understand other religions, like especially Hindu, how they believe in, their elephants and stuff like that.
The elephants is crazy.
It's just crazy for me. Like, I don't think that's going to help you in situations like that. But I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own beliefs. But that actually reminds me of a couple of dreams that I've actually had that were kind of scary. The one actually happened recently, a couple months ago. And that's when I moved to my mom's home. And I kept telling her like, Mom, there is something in this basement in this home, you know, and because I'm very religious, and my family's they're all right on religion. Like they believe in God, but they're not preaching His word. I mean, it's one thing to be religious and say, "Oh, I'm religious," but you're not following His word. So you're not really religious. You're just saying you are, but you're not, because you need to practice His word. And so I remember, like, I was at her house and I kept telling her, Mom, there's something here. There's something here. This is me being awake though. And my mom's like, nah, you're tripping. Nah, there's nothing here. It's just you. It's just you. Maybe you are the one that brings stuff in here. And I was like, I don't think so. I am pretty 100% sure that it's not me. And so next, a couple days went by. I remember that my mom, since I called it out. Demons do not like to be called out, by the way. Entities do not like to be called out. They hate to be pointed at, because then you start believing in God. When you point fingers at a entity or a demon, they're gonna get worked on. They're not, because remember, they're being disguised. And when you point fingers to them, they're gonna come and attack you,
Oh,
right? And so that's what happened. 3 days later, since I pointed, I called them out, and I was praying, in that basement, because I strongly believed there was something down there. Nobody would feel it in my family, but I would. And so, from what I remember is that same night, I went to sleep super pitch black in my room. I don't sleep with night lights or anything like that, because I don't have fear. I know God is always with me, and it's just that light within me. So I remember that in my dream, I woke up in my dream. So it's like me just normally waking up. And next, I heard some stuff in the back of my head, like moving things. Like there were some bags there that were moving. And so for a second, I was like, that kind of gave me chills, because I was like, wait a minute, what's back there? There's no one supposed to be in my room, right? And then next a hand pulled my hair, like in the back of my head, and it was pulling my head. It was so crazy that I felt its hand pulling my hair. But the first thing, I already knew, because I've cast out demons before many times.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Oh, in your dreams. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe in real life too, I don't know. But I already know what it is. So I start praying. In the name of Jesus Christ, like, go away. And I just start praying. And the hand just, boom, disappeared, right? I woke up right after, and I told my mom. I didn't, well, actually, not that same day. I would say I took like 2 days to tell my mom, because I didn't want to scare her. And then I told my mom eventually. I was like, Mom, like, this is what happened after I called out the demon and this and that. And this is when my mom started believing in me, because she was like, I didn't believe in you until you called out that demon. And she's like, this is what has happened to me ever since you called it out. And I was like, what happened? And she said that one time she was driving home, like within those days, it was all happening right after one thing and after another thing. And she said that, late night, she was driving home, and then she got to the house, and she said that she heard like a kid's voice inside her car.
I'm getting like chills, yo.
Yeah,
like,
me too. So she heard a kid's voice in the back of her car, and so that gave her chills. So right away she got scared. She ran inside. She's like, "What the hell? What was that?" And then the following day, when I told her what happened to me, she's like, "I now believe that there is something in down there," and so she went to work, normal. She said that same night, her and her coworker were in her car, putting things away in the trunk, and she said that she heard like somebody going inside her car not in the passenger, in the driver's seat, and they closed the door. So my mom right away, she freaked out, because she thought maybe it was somebody trying to steal her car or whatever. So she like immediately ran to the driver's seat door, and then she didn't see anybody, but somebody closed her door. I don't know what it was, but it gets even scarier. So the whole way, my mom was freaking out, because she was like, no one was inside my car, but somebody closed the door. She said that like when she got home, she kind of like saw like maybe like a shadow in the back of her car, like it hopped on in her car, you know? And so she like, I remember because I was eating in the kitchen and I'm already eating late night snacks and whatnot. And I remember my mom running inside the house and I asked her, are you okay? And she's like, there's something inside my car. And I remember her freaking out. And I was like, what? And she was like, I don't know. And she kind of told me what happened. And I was like, oh, mom, don't worry about it. It's okay. And she's like, well, can you go grab the bags? Because she didn't want her to go back
So
to her
she
car.
said you to go grab.
Yeah. So I did, obviously, because, you know, obviously I don't get fear, like, from so many experiences, it's like whatever to me. So I go inside the car and I grab her purse, her bag, and I put everything inside. And I just told her, I was like, I told you, mom, you should have believed me when I told you so. Well, anyways, I focus more now because of the experience that she was going through. I focus on just praying, and casting out that demon that was down there. Well, ever since then, we have not heard nothing anymore.
Really? Have you ever had a crazy nightmare or dream or ever seen that in person?
No, I can't really recall anything demonic in my dreams. I've had some crazy dreams, but I would say that I can. There have been some instances where I've looked into some people's eyes, like while they're under the influence, and I can see them being controlled.
That's a good one. There's a lot of people I could say that I've seen that from.
Like you just look into their eyes and
And
you
there's
can
just-
see
yeah.
that there's just no connection to their soul. Like they're just I can't, that's the best I can explain it. And they're
They
just
don't have
controlled.
a conscience. That's
They're-
what it is. They don't
they're-
have a conscience.
Exactly. They're operating strictly from emotions, which is the best way to control a human.
Well, okay, so like the word alcohol actually comes from like algol, and that's why like when you I shouldn't have even said that, but basically it's the name of a demon, right? And that's why when you go to the liquor store, you'll see it'll say like wine and spirits. Because alcohol, the characteristics of somebody who drinks comes from that demon, right? Where you get angry, you lose control, you don't really have a lot of moral kind of fortitude.
Well, those are all demons. Anxiety, stress, depression, all of that, those are all demons individually. So when you are intoxicated by any means, like whether it's alcohol or drugs, you're numbing your spirit, which allows doors to be open from the other side to have access of you.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's just that your spirit becomes numb. You're not aware.
Yeah,
Well said.
just lowers your vibration to where you can be taken over. Because, like, we've all seen people that are on drugs, whether it's homeless people on the street or whatever, people that are
Yep.
having, like, psychotic episodes. And, like, that's not normal. Like, it's rough. And even, like, I don't know. How do you feel about, like, mental illness in general? Do you just feel like that is a person being, like, attacked?
I would say yes and no, but I would say more yes. Because someone who has fully control of themselves would not act crazy. Someone who's not in control of themselves would allow other things to control them.
Yeah.
So
Because it's like nobody's born with depression or anxiety. Like,
well, it also depends. A lot of people this is why a lot of people don't understand that it affects who you have intimate relationships with. Because everybody has their own demons. So, you know, like, let's say, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I meet this guy, and this is why I meant, like, why I'm looking for a guy that brings peace. Because if this guy already has anxiety, depression, stress, or whatever, those are already demons. And let's say me and him become intimate. Those demons are now going to follow me. They're going to come to me, you know? So now I'm going to be carrying his energy, his demons. It's vice versa.
wow.
And so that's why a lot of people can't comprehend why am I feeling stressed now? Why am I feeling depression? Well, think about it. Who are you with? Who do you surround yourself with? Those demons that those people carry come to you too, because you're putting your energy with those people, especially if you're having intimate. You're being intimate with that person.
Yeah, so what you're saying is like people who like are genuinely like sleeping around constantly.
Yes, they're carrying everybody's demons each other. Yes.
Oh shit. That's wild. That's crazy.
And the
Yeah.
only way, by the way, the only way to cast out any demon is calling them out, whichever demon it is. If it's lustful, I mean, I don't know if you guys believe the 7 deadly sins. You know, calling them out, praying them out. That's the only way to cast out. But it has to come within you. Because I can pray for you every day if I could, you know. But it has to come within you. You have to pray them out. You have to point them out.
Yeah, that's deep. I feel like this is going to get a lot of comments on people saying, you know, but I also feel like, you know, it's a good thing for people to hear because like what you're saying, I don't feel like a lot of people really pay attention to or know who are not like very, very super religious. And so I think you broke it down in a way that's like pretty easy to understand.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And what are the 7 sins? There's lust, pride,
Wrath.
sloth, wrath. 2 more.
Lustful? No, did you ever say
Lust, yeah.
sloth,
Sloth,
wrath, gluttony,
gluttony,
Greed.
greed, and then 1 more.
pride? No, did
I
you
said
ever say-
pride. Maybe I counted wrong.
Wait,
That is
let's do it.
7.
No,
I was like, that is 7.
we got
I
to
was
get
like-
this down because we'll just clip it. We'll just cut it, make it look like you got it right the first time. So,
So let me explain.
Christian, will you look that up really quick?
No, let me explain it. So gluttony is basically when you're
Overindulging.
You're like you're not even hungry and you're just eating for
But
pleasure.
that could also be anything, though,
Yeah,
right?
I would say
Yeah.
gluttony of
Yeah,
it could be anything.
alcohol,
overindulging
gluttony
and
of
anything.
weed, gluttony of
Like when it becomes a what's it called? An ambition. That's
an
gluttony.
addiction.
Wrath is when you feel angry all the time. Anything pisses you off. Lustful, you're just like are basically in a way like
Can't
lustful
con-
for anybody, you know.
Can't control
like,
your sexual energy.
Exactly. Pride is when you think you're above everybody.
Arrogance.
Arrogance, yeah. Let's see, gluttony. Did I say wrath?
Yeah.
You said wrath.
Gluttony, wrath, lust.
Hold on, we have it right here.
lustful.
So there's sloth, greed, gluttony, lust. So pride, envy.
Envy. Oh, that's one of
That's
the
a good one.
biggest. Yes. There's a lot of envy.
I said this on one of the podcasts.
Competition. People
but
like to compete with each other. But the question is, would you really compete your brother and sister?
It's got to be a friendly competition because that's where surpassing your limitations comes from. Like the power of brotherhood. Like if I see Tay do 20 push-ups and he calls me out, I'm doing 21 push-ups.
Yes.
So like envy in that way, like
Oh, but-
competition
but
in that
en-
way.
Envy,
But-
and that wouldn't be counted. Envy is like, yo, Ty just barely got a new Ferrari. Like, I hate Ty. Like, why does Ty deserve that?
If there's
like,
if there's malice behind it, then yeah.
yeah,
but
that's
if it's
envy,
like
but friendly
oh,
competition is natural for
if
anybody.
Tay just got a new Lamborghini, like I gotta step my game up.
Well, that's inspiring you
Exactly.
to work harder.
Like-
not,
But
you're
you
not
guys
envious.
see it like that. This is how I see it. See, competition should not even be existed, you know, because you got to think about it. Why would you want to be better than that person? If you are better than that person, the chances of that person looking for help are very high. Because now you're doing a lot better than him and he's going to look for help, right?
Of
But
course.
if that person is doing better, he's not going to look for you, but you are going to look for him. So, I mean, why?
Because we brothers.
Why not help each other?
No, we
Just
would be,
happy,
but
you know?
like obviously, if
I'd
Tay
let him
pulled up in
watch-
a new Lamborghini,
I'd let him watch it a couple
he'd
times.
Like,
let
I
me
let
watch
you
it, he'd let me
drive
drive
my-
it,
Yeah.
but he'd also help me get my own.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Because
For sure.
if the roles were switched, if I was pulling up in a Lambo, I would
Not let
obviously
anybody drive it.
I wouldn't want him to drive my Lambo. Like, bro, get your own. Let's figure out how we can get you your Lambo. Like that, like brotherhood in that aspect, it has to be competitive because men as creatures, we are driven to just be conquerors. Basically, that's the best way I can put it. And we've always been tribal. Like since the dawn of humanity, we've always existed in tribes, and it's always been kill or be killed. And brotherhood is the only way that tribes survived. And the stronger the brotherhood, the stronger the tribe. And it's been the strongest tribes, the strongest civilizations that have, survived up to this point. And it
Well, it
kind
wasn't
of,
always like that because did live in the garden where everything was given to us and there was no need for any of that. And then
Yeah, like the apple.
Eve had to
So-
go ahead and eat that little
Yeah.
apple.
Yeah.
then there were, and then there were women.
You know, I don't know if people.
You're so stupid.
I had to.
But there is this funny clip that's
But
going
can I tell
around.
you something about, since you brought that up?
All right, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. This is why a lot of people get confused and they don't really understand this scripture. But the apple was basically wisdom, right? It gave them the knowledge of good and evil. Before they ate the apple, they didn't know bad existed. They didn't know wickedness or temptation or pleasure or any of those feelings or emotions existed. But
Interesting.
after they took the apple, it gave them the knowledge of good and bad. And so remember how Adam and Eve used to not wear clothing, jewelry, nada? Okay. Why do we do it now?
Well, I think a lot of people would be pretty envious if I was walking around naked all the time. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, it isn't. No. So the
you
reason,
know what I'm saying? I had to
Nah.
throw that one in there, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no. So the reason people now wear that is because, remember, the devil wants you to cover yourself. For you, like he's giving you
like we were made in God's image in the beginning, and then so covering us up would be a separation from God's image because we were made to be perfect like He was. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, but there was this article that I was reading how that's when the fallen angels came down and they start putting all this jewelry and made people worship all this stuff so they can cover themselves because now they're feeling tempted by each other, looking at each other.
Yeah.
And it's more like that compared to like back before the apple, they were not tempted. You can be bare ass walking around and they wouldn't be tempted because they didn't have that wisdom of bad.
Yeah. Have you heard of that story in Genesis?
Adam and Eve?
No, the fallen angels.
Ooh, no.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's get okay.
Yeah, let's get
So,
it, yeah.
all right, in the first chapter in Genesis, which like I'm a history nut and I love learning about this topic, it says that the sons of God, they were called the Watchers. And after we got expelled from the garden, now humanity is spreading out and we're becoming a nation, right? And so Cain was sent on his way after he killed Abel, right? And he was marked. But after that, there were these watchers who God sent to like look over mankind. Well, some of the watchers decided, hey, some of these women are looking pretty darn good. And I want to go experience what that's like. And so they came, it says that the sons of God saw the daughters of women and they became lustful of them and chose and married any of which they liked, right? And so basically they created the fallen angels or what's called the Nephilim, which is a angel-human hybrid. And they took over the earth. These are the stories that we always grew up learning, like Hercules, Achilles, Poseidon, Zeus, Ra, and all of these different things that we used to worship. These are demigods that were mixes of half angel, half human, but they were giants. My favorite, story to learn about is Gilgamesh, right? Who was this? He was 2/3 God, and he was just fucking shit up, okay? Like I'm talking about on when women would get married in his kingdom, he would sleep with her first before the husband did. And like there's nothing you can do about it. Like cuz I'm, and these giants are tall. Like remember David and Goliath? So you remember how he was a giant, right? That's one of the beings I'm talking about, right? And so, and after they ate and like indulged in everything that they could, they began to war with each other. And that's where we get like the story of Enoch from. Because like which was so crazy because there's only like 1 or 2 passages of Enoch in the Bible. But have you heard of the book of Enoch?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an entire book, right? And so there's only a couple passages in the canonized Bible, but when you go read the book of Enoch, it dives deep into the giants, which every single culture in humanity, no matter if they're in Mexico or China or Russia, we all have stories of these giants. England's another one. What was his name? Peter the Giant Slayer? What was his name? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Christian, can you look that up, the English story, so I can just cut it in here really quick and act like I know what I'm talking about? When you hear it, oh, it's Jack the Giant Slayer. That's who it is. Boom, right there. And that's an English story, right? And then you have also, so remember we were talking about King Arthur earlier, right? And Merlin. So do you know what Stonehenge is? Have you seen that in England?
Stonehenge.
Yeah. So originally the name for that is called the Giant's Dance. And basically the original story is that Merlin literally was conducting these giants to grab these stones and walk them thousands of miles to be able to create what was supposed to be a astrological calendar to mark a date of a significant time period. And so these giants, they had conquered the entire planet. We were all their slaves. They were taking our women, pillaging our women, doing all sorts of fucked up shit, eating us, like actually eating people
Interesting.
and doing this. And that's why God sent, the flood of Noah to literally cleanse the earth of these beings and stop them from taking over, because these fallen angels came down here and started taking all of our hus. So yeah.
That's what's happening now.
Yeah.
That's why girls are now so lost.
Yeah. My personal belief, and I want your opinion on this, is right. So when God takes away the giants' bodies, right, these are unclean spirits, which means that they are unable to go to heaven. You're an unclean spirit not made from God. And when you take away a giant's body, what does he become? A demon, right? Because every demon, from every story we ever hear, what do demons want more than anything? They want to possess you. They want to experience life again.
They're jealous of humans. So basically that's what it is. They're jealous of humans because, remember, we're God's creation. He made us so unique and special. We're his best creation. And the angels are so jealous that God made us perfect, almost perfect. And we have the choice we didn't have the choice, but now we have the choice to choose from good and bad. They don't even have that. So, I mean, it has to do a lot with envy.
Yeah. But I just think that story is so prevalent, though, because, like, it's a very significant chapter in Genesis. And it's like, it's one of the first things you read when you open a Bible is, the fallen angels and the watchers. And then, like, it just blew my mind. When I first learned about that, it, like, opened my eyes, because I was like, wait, giants really existed? Like, there were really beings on the planet that were 12, 25 feet tall. Because, like, I always was wondering, I was like, well, why isn't everybody just Christian, or why isn't everybody just one religion, right? Why are there so different many? And then you explained it, like, because the more separation we have from the truth, the further we are away from God. And, like, if you are, for example, right, in Mexican culture, have you ever heard of Kukulkan? The winged serpent? So, the Mayan temples were the temple of the sun, the temple of the moon, all of those. So those were made in honor of the war god, which was Kukulkan. Right? And so that's why, like, they would literally go conquer, like the Mayans and the Aztecs, they would literally go and conquer everybody else around them to bring them back to those temples to sacrifice them in ways that they thought would appease, Kukulkan, or the winged serpent. And when I think of a winged serpent, I'm thinking of something that looks like an airplane, right? Because, like, think about it. Like, that's what a dragon is. It's a winged serpent.
Well, it's like
right?
Leviathan.
Oh, shit, that name's...
I actually had a nightmare of...
Yo, that's one of the craziest ones in the Bible.
Leviathan?
Yeah.
I actually had a dream about it early this year, about Leviathan coming to this world.
Oh.
And it's scary. I saw its face, and it was looking straight at me in one of my nightmares. And, I can explain the story, but anyways, I've seen Leviathan. I've seen biblical angels, too. Like
Really?
Ezekiel. He doesn't really have a figure. It's a ball full of eyes, right? Yeah. And I've actually dreamt about them and stuff. Yeah.
I think that's another thing we can touch on real quick. Like, do you know what, like, the actual historical account of what angels look like was?
I have seen depictions, like, people recreating that with, like, AI and stuff, and it's, like...
You've seen, like, Ezekiel's will, where
it's like wings with, like, a bunch of eyes
in it. Yeah, exactly. And, like, that's always tripped me out, because there are different rankings of angels. You have archangels, you have cherubim. I forgot the...
So, the thing with Ezekiel, he is so pure that he cannot stand sin. So, if you have not repented, you will burn by just staring at him.
Yeah.
That's how it is. And that's how, in my dream, it was, too. And I also saw the Fountain of Youth. in that same dream when I saw Ezekiel too.
Really, just
It's
kind of.
drying. It's drying. Just FYI, it's drying.
Oh shit. I think that's very symbolic cuz like now in America, like when I was growing up, like we would say the pledge of allegiance, you know, one nation under God and all this stuff, and like from what I hear they're not allowing that in schools anymore. Like why do you think so much of our country is turning away from God in ways like we see it all the time? I mean, we see like
Because it's comfortable. It's easy for them
really.
to believe in it. Because think about it. If you believe in God, you have to have discipline. You have to follow his word. You have to sacrifice things that are temporarily pleasure, you know? So a lot of people get comfortable every day not having discipline. So it's much easier for them to
Like
not,
make excuses for their bad behavior because
Yeah.
they don't think they're being held accountable for anything.
Exactly.
Well, my biggest thing is like I would rather be unknown in this lifetime to be, you know, known for eternity in the next for my good deeds, right? Like being a good person or all of this
The
other
thing
things.
is, the next life is your, you know, like it's eternity. It's forever.
Yeah.
This is only temporarily. This is just a vessel. Why would you want this to be good and not your afterlife?
Yeah, that's something I think about very often. It's like what happens after this?
What if we can choose to come back but have no knowledge of?
You would be punished the same way how you're punished now. Life is not easy. Or I mean, unless it is easy for you.
He does
But
have green
everybody-
eyes, so I mean
But
No, but I mean,
but
like,
what I mean
be-
is that when you do get reborn, you might be reborn into a flower or a bee
Yeah.
or a tree where you just don't move
True,
and you don't have choices.
because eternity is
Yeah.
very long.
So I'd
It's
rather go
basically
home.
but if time doesn't exist though,
no,
it would just
exactly.
be
Like our minds
Yeah.
like literally can't comprehend like how that
I'd rather go
would.
home.
yeah, same.
Because we
I'd
would,
rather
but
go home.
eternity is so like time doesn't exist. So if time doesn't exist, like what would be happening? Like there's like I can't wrap my brain around. Like I would. The only other thing to do to not exist in that space would be to come back.
Well,
Because-
have you guys
Oh.
ever seen the videos of the afterlife?
What? There's videos?
People who have died and came back to life and they've seen the afterlife, they have testimonies. And some of their testimonies are very scary and vivid. And
Interesting.
it talks about hell, it talks about heaven, and it talks about Jesus Christ. Even people who were Muslim have converted into Christian because of that testimony that they've had.
Really? Mm-hmm. We're gonna have to watch some of those.
Oh
That's-
yeah, it's
Actually, I might scare me. I just rather be a good person. Just I don't know, because that would be
Yeah.
like that would suck so bad. You know, my biggest fear also is like if you pass away, right, and like let's say you are somebody who prays or like worships, you know, God and believes that you know He died for our sins and all of this stuff, right, and then you get over there, and then you know He says like I never knew you. You know, like
exactly, because you never seek him. You never
Yeah.
preach his word. It's like it comes back to where you can say, "Oh, I'm religious," but do you really follow his word? You know, do you really know God? Did you ever have the chance to get to know him? You know, like people don't really get the chance. They spend hours on their phones looking in social media, but they can't spend 10 minutes reading his word.
damn. That's a big one.
That's what God will ask. If I was
Yeah.
a mom and my kid was not obedient, what would you do?
I mean, you gotta discipline them, you know. Oh
Like,
yeah,
punish
yeah,
them.
dang.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Do you really think God doesn't think the same way?
Oh man. Yeah, that's rough. Taking accountability is hard. It's hard because, you know, nobody in their mind in the moment thinks that they're doing wrong or bad, or maybe you do and you still choose to do it anyway, but like most people are the main character in their mind and in their life, right? Where they're not really thinking outside of how does this decision I'm going to make today, how does that affect me tomorrow? Like if I sleep around or if I, you know, rob somebody or if I do this, like they may rob somebody because they really need food, right? Or they really need something. And like they're not thinking of how those actions and decisions could affect them in the afterlife or whatever. And so, yeah. Well, really quick, before we end the episode, what's one of the craziest coming back to life stories that you've heard that'll wake people up?
I mean, well, of the afterlife.
Yeah, like what are
stories.
people saying like hell look like or any
Well,
of
they
that?
say that hell, you don't have a vessel. Basically, you can't even breathe. There's no air. It's really hot. There's basically, it's just your soul flying around, but you feel it. And so there's levels of hell, and depending on your sin, you go to that level. And so, and in each level, obviously, there's, demons that love to torture you. They're laughing, laughing. And the more they laugh, the more they torture you. They basically cut you in pieces. They basically burn you. Depending on your level of sin, they torture you. But the people that, from what I've heard, is that everybody's sin when you're in hell.
Like you wear your sins on you so everybody
In a
can
way,
see.
like you're just souls flying around, but you can tell, like you can just sense their sin, what they did in life, and all they think about is how much they wish they can go back to this reality and preach the word of God and have a second chance. Because once you're in hell, you're there for eternity. It's not like, there's ways out. No. Unless you become a demon. But that's already
Do you think
another
that's
life
possible
story.
to do so for people who are so bad that would make that decision to become that once they're already being tortured?
Yeah, but there's no way out of that anymore. You become just like the rest of the demons, torturing more people. Because remember, their mission in this reality is to drag you down, to keep you away from God. Because the more you're distracted, the more easier is for you to go to hell. So for them, if you don't preach his word, you're nothing. You're already winning. You're basically they're winning already. They don't need to even work on you. They're like, oh, he's doing it by himself. We just distracted him with a few things, and that's it. We didn't not much to work on. What's actually work on is someone who believes in God, someone who doesn't allow any of that sorts of emotions like depression, anxiety, corrupt their heart. So I personally feel like my best advice is just preach his word, believe in God, make sure that, you pray for everybody, you pray for yourself. There's battles that we don't see every day that are happening right about now. There's portals being opened right about now, and people are not praying enough to close them. And those demons are coming out after everyone.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you ever heard of how you probably heard of this, like people waking up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, think about it. Why?
That's happened to me a couple of times where I just
Okay.
randomly wake up. But the scariest is when I wake up and it's 3:30 because Jesus died at 3:30 p.m. So if you wake up at 3:30 a.m., that's the exact inverse and opposite, and it's
No. So basically, the reason you wake up at 3 a.m. is because God needs your help. He's waking you up so you can pray. Because remember, there's portals, there's being open, there's battles that we don't see. And the only way to close them is by praying. And God it's in need of your help. It's why he's waking you up. So you can pray, so we can close those portals. Beat those battles.
You gotta wake up at 3 a.m.
And pray.
oh yeah, he wakes up at 3 a.m. all the time. Now that you mention it, that's wild. Why'd you pick
God
that
is
time?
remembering you. He just wants you to pray.
Yeah, I wake up, I hydrate, I pray, I meditate, I read, and then I journal.
Wow.
And then I work out.
Everybody
Step
should
by
be more
day.
like Ty, okay? But
Wow.
yeah, that is, I mean, we got some amazing insight for you. Hopefully, I mean, that like wakes a lot of people up just to at least, get a little bit closer to God and just, remember your actions have consequences, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, you guys gotta watch The Afterlife. It explains a lot more in detail.
And it's a show?
No, it's in YouTube, and you
Oh.
just type in The Afterlife, and there's all these people all around the countries that have passed away and came back to life that have experienced all these testimonies, and they will
Interesting.
tell you, like, detailed what they see in the afterlife. They will tell you how like how hell is, and most of their testimonies, all of them talk about how hell is just dark, how it's like there's no air. you can't even breathe. You're like suffocating in there. You don't even have a vessel.
Max level suffering, huh? Dang.
And then the demons still come and torture you.
Just to add insult to industry. Yeah. Oh man. Well, I'm so grateful we were able to have you on because it's like, I learned a lot. I don't know about you, but like it definitely helped remind me to, just like have more conscious about my actions and about, the things that I do, because like it obviously will affect us later on. And so thank you so much. Let's go. Thank you so much. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah. So this has been Call ATM, episode number 6. Definitely a lot of really great insight, a lot of, knowledge about the Bible. And we just all encourage you, have a little bit of faith. Whatever you're going through in life, it can always be solved by seeking the Word of God. And just, you'll experience a lot of healing by doing it. I think you'd be surprised if you actually tried it. Where can the people find you at if they want to just, follow your page, just show you love, support, everything you have going on?
You can follow me on Instagram. I'm always posting about God verses. It's S Monreal 11.
Okay, fantastic. Well, it's been another banger episode.